Be live.
We be live. All right, I'm getting it all set up. Okay, let me go here. I'm trying to say
Good evening, everybody. I can't talk.
yeah, because you were singing Michael Jackson before the show started.
Billie Jean is not my love.
I remember when I was in 4th grade and I saw the moonwalk.
That was some crap, wasn't it? It literally looked like he was floating. And then after a while, you're seeing it so much, you're like, I wonder if I can do that.
I did it, bro. I did it. What? I did it. I can do the moonwalk. All right. Welcoming.
Got a great guest tonight, guys. Jonathan Johnson, West Virginia Paranormal Investigations.
Guest.
He is in the green room as we speak.
Yeah, the green room.
The green room. He's in the abnormal green room. 2 minutes.
Boom. All right. How's everybody doing out there on yeah. All right. I can't type and think at the same time. I'm Italian. What do you expect? Groups. Situation room. Oops.
Hi, it's Doc Thompson from
Man, dude, I'm slipping.
Ministries. Matthew 25 Ministries is one of the few charities.
Be right with you, kids. Be right with you.
I know them. I've worked with them, and I know
that's me.
Almost
that's
all
good.
the money that you donate goes to help people. Go to M25.
Yep, Audrey's ditching us again.
M25M.org.
Yeah, work kind of gets in the way with her.
Ain't that dumb. I actually don't think she has a job.
You know what?
Yeah, I'm just saying. I think she's just saying that as an excuse.
Maybe.
All right, I got JJ's information up here. You're going to read the bio, Mr. Phillips?
I will.
Yes, sir. Let's do this.
You bring us in 1 minute. You bring us in. I'll read the bio.
All right. Bam. Information up here. That's you're going to read the bio. There we go.
It's me.
Don't judge me. All right, what's up, everybody? What's going on over there on YouTube? What's going on Facebook? Mojo 50 Radio, Odyssey Radio, and all our brothers and sisters over there on Ops Lens. What? Did you just give him a piece?
Peace.
All right, we got you guys up
30
here.
seconds. Here we go.
30 seconds. All right. Thomas Becker, love your coffee mug. Dude, number 1. Here we go.
If every day that goes by seems more and more likely, better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it. Preparewithmojo50.com. If you want to keep food on the table, if you just want to maintain some sense of normalcy, preparewithmojo50.com is the answer. Preparewithmojo50.com.
Journey into the matrix of the mind. Stretch your imagination and challenge reality. Abnormal realities are beacons for the imagination. What society deems abnormal may be more real than we think. This is Abnormal Realities with your hosts, Ron Phillips and Rocci Stucci.
You know, Brother Phillips, the weirdest thing just kind of popped into my brain. Today, as I'm seeing there in the chat room, today is Hump Day.
Yeah, it is.
And it is somebody special's birthday.
It is. It's my wife's birthday. Yay.
On Hump Day.
It's her 20th anniversary of her 29th birthday. Yay.
So what are you doing tonight?
What? Am I supposed to do something?
What are you doing for her birthday?
We don't do anything.
Back rub, shoulder rub, candles.
I'm joking.
Bath.
No, I got her a gift and gave her the cards already, and my daughter gave her gift and cards already.
Did you give her a hug?
We didn't get to go out to eat tonight because of the show, so we'll do that over the weekend.
That's right.
We had brownie cake and something I didn't need.
Hold on, I'm looking for my piece. I'm just a question.
You don't. We always offer, but you don't ever take it.
Son of a bitch. I've been working out, Ron Phillips.
Yeah, I haven't.
But seriously. You did that one day.
One day. It's one day.
Yeah, you walked.
I walked for
a mile.
A mile.
And you were spent for a week.
I was. I got to get back on the treadmill.
Before we continue, seriously, on a very serious note, Misty, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Misty. Ron Phillips owns you a back rub.
I owe her a lot more than that.
Oh, yeah, he does.
Yeah.
So, dude, I am excited. I've been waiting for this.
Oh, this is going to be fantastic.
Oh, by the way, before we bring JJ in, JJ, I'm sorry to hold you up. Just give us one quick second. We do have 2 guests that are going to be coming on the show.
In the very near future.
Marie D. Jones.
tell everybody who she is.
She is an author, and she's written like 5,000
God,
books.
no kidding.
Conspiracy books, paranormal books, UFO books, all different types of weird stuff. And
What's her last name?
Marie D. Jones.
Marie
D.
Jones. Gotcha.
Sounds like a song.
Yep.
Marie D. Jones. And of course, Brett Oldham. He does extensive research in regards to UFOs, the Greys. That'll be a very in-depth, very deep interview, and we're very much looking forward to him. They're going to be on within the next couple of weeks. We'll announce the dates. I don't want to waste any more time because we have a phenomenal guest tonight, paranormal researcher J.J. Johnson. Brother Ron Phillips.
Yeah, let me run through the bio real quick. So tonight we're welcoming our special guest, Jonathan Johnson. He helped found the group West Virginia Paranormal Investigations in 2007. He's investigated some of the biggest locations in the U.S., including Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum, West Virginia Penitentiary.
Oh!
Now, the Sweet Spring Sanitarium, isn't that the one that Destination Fear went to on like their first season? We'll ask him about that. That'd be cool. And many other places, guys. Let's see. He was featured on the Travel Channel show Paranormal Challenge with Zach Baggins, as well as My Ghost Story on A&E. He was also a consultant for an episode of the Travel Channel show Strange World. Ladies and gentlemen, please join us in welcoming Mr. Jonathan Johnson. What's up, buddy?
Not much. Just happy to be here. Glad you guys asked me to be on.
Man, we appreciate you coming on. I'm going by JJ. JJ, the whole
JJ Johnson.
Man, it has some power to it. You know what I mean? It's like, ladies and gentlemen.
What does everybody call you? JJ?
It depends on who you ask. My family calls me Jonathan. My friends call me JJ. I'll answer to anything.
I know your mom and dad call you by your first and your middle name. I know how that goes.
Sometimes, yeah.
Why do you gotta do that?
I know how it goes, dude.
Brother, you know what? I tell you something. It's a first pleasure to be here. I'm going over the list of the places that you've investigated, and I want to get to those. But you know, one of the biggest questions I have, and Ryan and I talk about this all the time. Everybody kind of has a different journey in life, right? We kind of have a different path, and some people have to go through some things in life and to create this interest. Some people, you know, they have an experience maybe at a younger age, or they just grew up believing in it. What got you to the point, brother, to that put you in a position where you started actively researching paranormal events?
Yeah, I wish I had like the Hollywood quintessential moment where I had like an experience and that set me off this path, but that's not the case. I actually grew up hearing stories from my mom. She grew up in a house that she swears was haunted. She would be upstairs in bed and there'd be footsteps going around and her mom would yell up at her to get in bed and she'd be terrified under the covers. So hearing stories like that growing up, that always kind of piqued my interest.
Do you realize, hey JJ, do you realize how many covers on this planet have saved people's lives from
Without
ghosts?
a doubt. I'm telling you, if you can't see them, they can't see you, right?
Exactly.
That was always my thought.
Go ahead, brother. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good. That's an excellent observation. It's so true. But yeah, about the time I got to college, it was about the time when Ghost Hunters, the TV show, kind of came into the mainstream. I honestly, before that, hadn't really put much thought into the fact that people go out and actually investigate it and learn about it. So that at that point, I was like, oh man, this is something that I really need to explore. So I put out a thing on Facebook and I was like, hey, does anybody know any places local that have any stories or any folklore or anything like that? And my cousin Rich, who I co-founded the group with, he sent me a message and said, hey, I've been fascinated with this all my life. And that was kind of the jumping off point, and it's been onward and upward from there.
So what was it like? Because I remember my very specific, very first time. I remember my first EVP. I remember the first, you know what really gets me, brother, is the footsteps, especially when you can feel them, right? What was the first experience that you had that kind of says, holy shit, damn, what just happened to my face? What was your most profound, the very first time? How did you react to it? How did your body accept it, or your mind? What was the experience like?
That's actually a better story than kind of why I got into it. like I said, we had reached out and somebody had put me in contact with a guy who owns a farmhouse in the middle of nowhere. And when I say the middle of nowhere in West Virginia, that legitimately means the middle of nowhere.
I bet.
So we're out in the boonies. It's an old 2-story little tiny farmhouse. We were there. We weren't even investigating at this point. We were just like walking around and getting stuff set up. At that point, basically all we had was like a couple voice recorders. And we had walked around, and I was downstairs, and then around the corner, I heard the door that goes upstairs unlatch, open, and close. And I just assumed that it was Rich going upstairs to set up a recorder. So I opened the door and I said, "Hey, Rich." At that point, he walked in the front door on the other side of the building. Like, it was incredible timing. And he said, "What?" And he said, when he came around the corner, my face was just completely white. Like, I had no color in my face whatsoever. And that was like the first time I was like, yeah, we're on to something. There's definitely something that needs research more.
Yep. What do you think it is? Because, I've been to a couple, of course, Villiscak's Murder House. It's an old farmhouse, but, that's a really big popular item. It seems like a lot of people, when I was doing a lot of residentials, it always seemed to be these old farmhouses. I mean, we went, brother, to this one farmhouse. I told Ron about it. The grandma died 16 years before we went in there to investigate, and nobody lived in there since, and her damn pajamas were still in the closet. That freaked me out more than any type of ghost could ever freak me out. You know what I mean?
Because her pajamas were still hanging in the closet?
Dude, I'm telling you, 16 years, it's like they were still alive and breathing. I just couldn't explain what I was looking at, and I tried to, never mind. Don't worry about it. What do you think it is? Because my biggest thing, the biggest journey I go through in my head, and Ron and I mean, we travel a lot and we have these deep conversations and trying to understand what is it about certain locations? What is it about certain areas? What is it, ley lines, riverways, electrical grids, nuclear power plants, farmhouses? What do you think it is in regards to farmhouses? Do you think it's because of the old family roots and they're still emotionally tied to those locations? What do you think it is?
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely think that plays a part in it. This gentleman this farmhouse has been in his family for hundreds of years. I don't even know the exact number, but it's been generations. And there unfortunately had been some tragedy. His father had died on the property, and there was another person who had lived there previously who had died on the property. So there had been some death associated with it. But I think anytime that you have such a strong connection to a piece of land or to a piece of property, that it's going to be hard for that person or that spirit to move away from there.
Wow. I was going to tell you, brother, we're trying to get Ron. We're trying to get him up. We want to do a live broadcast in the Haunted Hill House in Mineral Wells, Texas. It's been on a few TV shows.
It has been on, and there's a lot of videos of it online.
There's a lot of stuff going on in that.
And we've talked to some people. We had a woman on, Martha Decker.
Yep.
She has Martha Hazard. Yeah. She was on with us, I don't know, 2 weeks ago, maybe. And she, has stayed in the house overnight, multiple nights, and just kind of lives basically at that house. Talking about just some serious crap going on all the time. And I don't know, dude. I've not done paranormal investigations in the past, so I don't know what to expect. I want that first experience like you guys are talking about, but I'm kind of afraid at the same time.
So, JJ, what would you advise Ron, especially when he has his first experience? What kind of advice, if Ron came up to you and says, "Brother JJ, listen, I'm a little stressed out. I'm pooping a lot because my nerves are just a little out of control."
No, dude. If you say if the first words out of your mouth to answer this question are "wear a diaper," I'm out. I'm just saying.
What would you say to him? What kind of advice would you give him?
I would just say be openly cautious to the experience. You definitely want to protect yourself in whatever way you feel necessary, either through your religion or spirituality or whatever the case may be. But you also don't want to completely shut that door. We've investigated with people in the past who, for whatever reason, they've just put off this energy that there's no chance that anything's going to happen, and they're just so shut down that it, for whatever reason, just completely kills any kind of interaction. So you got to be open to experiencing something, but you also want to be cautious and
be cautious.
And
Be Be cautious, but keep an open mind. Okay.
And wear a diaper.
And wear a diaper. Damn it. Yeah. I mean, have you ever in any of your investigations come across any malevolent spirits or anything like that has tried to cause harm?
Yeah, when you've been doing it for as long as I have, like I said, almost 15 years now, you're bound to come across it if you're out in the field long enough. Now, do I think it's as prevalent as what are portrayed on TV shows? Absolutely not. Especially the ones that they say are demonic. Those are incredibly, incredibly rare. And there's been cases where I've been touched and pushed and scratched, and I'm still not sure that those were demonic. Now, were they bad, malevolent? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's no two ways about that. One experience at the Sally House in Atchison, Kansas, a pretty famous place. I had 3 scratches down the entire length of my forearm, and there's nobody in the area with me. I was completely alone. Another place that I stayed,
did you feel those, JJ, when you got them?
Not immediately, no.
Okay.
It felt more like a burning, and then I looked down and realized what had happened. I mean, within a couple of seconds, but I didn't like see them appear or anything like that.
Gotcha. Okay.
You know, I want to ask you something, and I don't know if I may be pushing the limits a little bit here, because when you talk about when people, protecting yourself, when you talk about, whether it be through religion or your spirituality, do you think that religion plays a part? Your belief system, I guess. Maybe religion is the bad word. Your belief system. Do you think that either one, your belief system could manifest that something to be real? Or because I've often wondered, brother, just through some personal experiences, and we could talk sometime offline about them. I've often wondered in regards to some of the spirit that we do deal with or ghosts that we do deal with, why they're still here when some of these people were absolutely 100% innocent people while they were physically alive.
Right.
Do you ever find yourself questioning your spiritualism or faith in this process? Did you find this process maybe to reconnect you with faith or make your faith stronger?
Yeah, I grew up in a very religious family. I have 2 uncles who are pastors. My family is a go to church every Sunday type of family. So when I initially got into this, I had definitely faced a little bit of pushback where everybody was saying that I was just messing with demons and that was the only thing out there. And I understand why they would say that. But just through my experiences over the years, it's definitely given me a different perspective. And I think personally it's strengthened my belief system just because, like I said, when you're in some of those situations and you have to put up that shield or put up that layer of protection, you better believe in whatever it is you're turning to, because that's going to be the difference between you just being okay or something that could happen that you don't want to happen.
And that's profound too, because Ron, I've explained to you before I got into the paranormal, I was going through this weird stuff in my life. And at that time in my life, I lost all faith. You run out of things to blame. So you start blaming God for everything. Right. And this is my dad. He still serves mass. I mean, he's a strong old school Italian Roman Catholic, and he still goes to mass every Sunday. And every once in a while he squeezes one in here and there too during the week, and I try to explain it. And my dad's not anti, he doesn't think everything's a demon compared to some other people in their faith. And that's okay. People fear what they don't understand. We say that all the time on this show. But what I try to tell a lot of my friends that give me a lot of flack for this is that this and these paranormal experiences have actually reacquainted myself with my faith, that have brought me back, because we see and we know that what we deal with is very real. And some of the stuff we deal with is very sinister. Some of the stuff we deal with isn't sinister.
Yeah.
But it is real. So, if this exists in our physical reality, then my faith is that there has to be something much greater than what we deal with at our level, right?
Absolutely. I totally agree 100%. Yeah. And that's something that the more you do it, the more you will kind of realize exactly what you said, that if there's something out there that is here to stay, then there's got to be something out there after that or beyond that. So, yeah, absolutely. I agree 100%.
All right. West Virginia, right? That you're from West Virginia. So now
absolutely.
You are in when we talk about history in the United States, I mean, we don't have, historically speaking, as a country, we don't have many years like when you go to England, you can go into a castle that's freaking over 1,000 years old, right?
Yeah.
But you are on the soil of some of the richest history as a country, as our country, and a lot of things have happened on that part, with the colonies and the Revolutionary War, the Civil War, all different types of things. Gettysburg. Have you been to Gettysburg?
I've been there one time. We didn't really get to investigate. I went with my girlfriend and her family, and we did go visit Sachs Bridge and kind of hang out there a little bit. We didn't get to do much, but that's one place that, I don't know, for whatever reason, it took me 30 plus years to get there, but I can guarantee it won't take that long for me to go back.
What was the feeling though when you were there? That's one of my big, there's a lot of places I want to go to, but for some reason Gettysburg it always remains at the top of the list. I don't know if it's because I'm a big history guy. I love history.
Yeah.
And, it's kind of it's this big pivotal point of our country. But I just, there's something about Gettysburg that I'm just almost borderline obsessed with going. Now, when you were there, and I know you were investigating, and you don't have to investigate to really kind of feel and absorb, the area. What did you feel when you were there? Did you feel, did you kind of just put yourself in a different time when you were there?
Yeah, I mean, it's the energy, and energy is something that across the paranormal, that's kind of the thing that connects everything is the energy out there. And it's just a totally different energy in Gettysburg. My girlfriend, her dad, he does a lot of the reenactments and things like that. So he has a really in-depth knowledge of the history. And I obviously know the major points of the history, but he knows like the ins and outs of every single battle and every single movement. And he shared a lot of that with us, which was incredibly eye-opening. Like, I mean, you obviously know the death toll and things like that, but when you dig deeper into some of the crazy stuff that happened there, it just opens your eyes to. I mean, there can't not be something there, I should say.
What do you believe? I'm sorry, I keep cutting you off. I got so many questions.
No, dude. The only question that I have that I want to ask sometime during the show, and I'll ask it now. If we run out of time, then we'll come back after the commercials. But of all of these places that you've visited, JJ, which one of these stands out the most? Even if it's the My Ghost Story on A&E or the Travel Channel, any of those things, what stands out the most and made the most impact in your career in investigations?
That's a really good question. That's really difficult to answer. Being here in West Virginia, we're incredibly, incredibly lucky to be surrounded by some amazing places. Trans-Allegheny is literally an hour from me. The West Virginia Penitentiary is like an hour and a half from me. Sweet Springs is like 3 hours from me.
Jesus.
So I mean, we're super lucky.
Is Sweet Springs the place that they went on Destination Fear's first season?
It is, yeah, absolutely.
Because, dude, I'm telling you, that one freaked me out. That's the one that you told us. Remember, you said go to season 1. The first episode you told us to go look at because you thought it was the one where the old woman said hello.
Oh, that was season 2, episode 9.
Right, but you told me season 1, episode 3, so that's what I went to see. It was that Sweet Spring Sanitarium, and I'm like, okay, these people are freaking me out right now.
Go ahead.
Yeah, the web series episode that we filmed there, we captured some of the craziest evidence that we've ever captured, and that place is the history and just the beauty and everything around it. It's definitely up there in my memorable places for sure.
Is that the place that's shaped like a cross? I don't remember.
I don't remember.
No,
I don't think so.
Yeah.
No, I got to look.
So
what was it like? I mean, tell us, because I don't know if it's my spidey senses sometimes when I walk into places, if it's psychosomatic, if it's just my mind, my imagination. But I can put myself in certain situations and I can almost feel, the atmosphere. I can almost absorb it in. Sometimes I'll look at a doorway and I'll just be like, I ain't going in there. I'm not going to break the threshold of that door. When you walked in, now we're talking about Sweet Springs, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So when you walked in there, JJ, What was the feeling like when you were looking around, when you were seeing it, when you were just kind of at first taking it all in, right when you first got there? What was the initial feeling?
It was just kind of a feeling of just awestruck. I mean, it's a massive building. It's a massive property. The natural springs that are there are just incredible. The building itself and just everything about it, it just kind of takes you aback. And then I personally, I'm definitely not psychic. I'm definitely not a medium or anything like that. But I've been doing this so long that I will definitely get a feeling, and it's usually a pressure on my temple when I'm around something and I know that there's something around me, and it almost always corresponds with something else happening. And it wasn't long after I was in that building that I got that feeling that I knew there was something there around me.
See, and I didn't know about the springs. Do you think the springs there or within the area or whatever is underground, do you think that is maybe a battery, maybe some kind of energizer that energizes that location?
I absolutely think it could be. Yeah, I mean it's a constantly running spring there, and it's been running like that for centuries. So I mean water in general is theorized to be something that can amp up activity. So I definitely think that could play a part in it.
I've researched the location in Osceola, Minnesota. And JJ, I'll tell you something. It was the craziest thing because we found out later that there's a butler there and the little girl, and we actually know the little girl's name was Angelina. It used to be a water distillery, and they used to bottle water there in the 1800s. They actually had a tree that was planted sideways, and that goes all the way back to the Native Americans.
Native American, you said that before.
Yep,
yeah.
They would plant a tree sideways, and that would allow other Native Americans to know that that's the fresh source of water. And this place was so energized that you can literally just start a recorder and just set it down and just sit down for a while and then play it back and pick up conversations between Angelina and the butler. So, there again, there's part of that brain busting of why certain locations, what's energizing locations, atmospherically, the ley line thing. But ladies and gentlemen, we have Mr. J.J. Johnson from West Virginia.
Hang with us. Stay with us, J.J. What?
You screwed up my mojo.
I'm sorry, dude. Get after it.
I was feeling it.
Jump in there. Go. 1, 2, 3, go.
He says, jump in there. West Virginia Paranormal Investigations. Make sure that you look up the YouTube channel, West Virginia Paranormal Investigations. JJ Johnson is our guest tonight. I got questions about some of the locations he's been at. I want to hear some stories in regards to some of his research. But, folks,
I agree with you.
Abnormal Realities. Go to abnormalrealities.com. Make sure you get your merchandise. Make sure you get your cup. They're on the website now. Rob Phillips.
Yeah.
Take us home.
RomikaDesigns.com. You're going to hear about him here in just a second, guys. Stick with us. We'll be back in 2 minutes. At Romika Designs, we're more than just a laser engraving and specialty design company. Much more. I'm Ron Phillips, co-owner of Romika Designs, and if you can dream it, we can probably make it. We can custom laser cut and engrave on nearly all material. Great for one-of-a-kind gifts, home decor, business and specialty items, or personalized and logo designs created just for you or your company. Allow us to become your go-to gift and specialty project partner. Romika Designs can help make your ideas a reality. We're ready to help you design and create that special gift for any occasion or engrave your personal or business logo on just about any product. View our designs at romikadesigns.com or simply email us with your ideas. We specialize in custom design and would be honored to have the opportunity to discuss it with you. Call us at 817-400-4040, email info@romikadesigns.com, or visit us on the web at romikadesigns.com.
Abnormal Realities.
All right. Effective radiation on testicles between 1963 and 1973, which was the year I was born. Dozens of Washington and Oregon prison inmates were used as test subjects in an experiment designed to test the effects of radiation on testicles. In most cases, subjects were zapped with over 400 rads of radiation, which is the equivalent of 2,400 chest x-rays.
They were zapped with over 400 rads in their nads. Right there.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. I got chills.
It just came to me right there. I'm sorry.
Rads in the nads. Rads in the nads, baby. Come on. What?
I couldn't help myself.
It registered in Ron, and you saw him go with it.
Abnormal Realities
Sometimes I scare myself. I'm so good.
with Ron and Rocci. 8 p.m. Eastern, Mojo 50.
That was good, Phillips.
Welcome
Damn it.
back, everybody. Abnormal Realities.
Oh.
Stop touching Pete. Petey.
E.
Yeah, welcome back. I'm Ron Phillips. This is Rocky Stucci.
How you doing?
Yeah, buddy. Tonight we got our special guest, JJ Johnson from West Virginia Paranormal Investigations. JJ, welcome back, buddy.
Hey, that's an awesome break there. That
Yeah, it was.
Our promos, man. We enjoy doing the promos because sometimes they're good, sometimes they're not so good. That one happened to be pretty funny.
Yeah, hey, Gnawing Beaver on Twitter says, #Abnormal Realities. I am obsessed with Gettysburg, too. Been there 7 times. I'll be going back again and again, such as Sachs Bridge, too. Now, I don't know what possesses people to name their name Gnawing Beaver, but I got visions that probably, they're just not.
She was Angry Beaver for a long
She?
time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you got to meet Holly.
Oh, it's Holly.
Hi, Holly. Stop
Damn it.
touching me, dude. All right. Yeah, I was just looking during the break. I was looking at Sweet Spring Sanitarium on the web. This thing's been here. I mean, the first hotel they said was erected in 1792. So this thing's been there for a long time. How long has it been shut down? Do we know?
It shut down in the mid 2000, like 2010, I think. 2000.
Oh, okay.
Wow, that's still pretty recent, comparatively speaking.
Oh, it was sold into private hands in 96, it says. And in 2005, it was sold again. The new owner hoped to restore it. And then it was auctioned off to Ashby Berkeley in 2015. And I guess it's still closed right now.
How much you pay for it, does it say?
$560,000.
Oh,
That's a huge building
for $560,000?
for $500,000.
Yeah, absolutely.
Could you live there, JJ?
Oh, I would love to. Yeah.
Hell no.
Hell yeah, you could, Phillips.
Hell no.
Absolutely, you could.
I'm not doing it.
I would do it. Hey, have you ever heard? You probably have, but Goldfield Hotel. That is, like, legitimately the bucket list of my lifetime. I want to go in that damn basement, and I want to see some bricks fly. I'm not even lying. I feel crazy even saying that. But
Have you been there before?
no, they won't let nobody investigate no more because people.
Okay, but somebody had been there because you told me about the
Yeah.
bricks flying. In the wood.
JJ, you remember that documentary, the Ghost Adventures' very first documentary?
Yeah, that was before they got the TV show. That
That's
was
right.
like one of the first things that I saw that really kind of sparked my interest in everything. And my girlfriend, who's investigates with us now, she had never seen it, so I actually watched the original documentary about a month and a half ago. And it's crazy how far that those guys have came from,
Yeah.
like the equipment they were using and stuff like that. But yeah, that brick flying and wood flying, I mean, I still don't have a really good explanation for that.
It's
I
almost
don't think anybody does.
Yeah,
do they?
no, because they sent it to news stations. They
Yeah.
told the news, and that was the old. Remember that it was like the tapes that they still were using back then.
Right.
But it's just the fact that we want to go to a location like this, that we thrive to be put in a position like that. We're kind of crazy, but it kind of makes me happy.
Kinda.
You know what I mean? But no, what happened is that Ghost Adventure started doing these events. And the rocks always get thrown everywhere, and people started freaking out, and they're afraid of the liability of people over panicking, people.
Really?
Yes. Yeah, don't worry about it. We don't judge you.
So, literally the rocks aren't falling.
No, they're being thrown. Yeah, they got a video where it comes up
What
off the
the
floor and travels like 15 feet and bounces perfectly off Zach's toe. It's just incredible. I got to get there.
And it's called the Goldfield
Goldfield Hotel.
Where's it at?
Goldfield, Nevada.
Nevada. Okay.
Yep. All right, JJ, let's talk about some of the different locations. Now, we covered a couple of them. What are some of the locations that I would say maybe resonate the most with you, that stick with you? Have you had an experience at these locations that maybe kind of give you a little bit of night terrors?
I mean, I've definitely had some nightmares before. That's definitely a fact. But the West Virginia Penitentiary, where we filmed Paranormal Challenge, I've had some crazy stuff happen there. We were in one of the isolation cells, and all the tiers above that were locked off. So there's no physical way that anybody could get up there. And the door, the jail door, the cell door above us slammed so hard that we physically felt the cell that we were in shake.
Oh.
And there's legitimately no explanation for that. I mean, that always stands out in my mind. Um, I've been to Trans Allegheny. That was the first like major place I ever went. After we started, I did like a public investigation there. I was in one of the wings completely alone. There was nobody else down there. I panned my flashlight across the hallway, and there was the outline, the silhouette, shadow of a person there. And by the time I took my flashlight back across, they were completely gone.
Oh.
So that was like one of my first major experiences at a bigger location. And then most recently, one of our favorite places here in West Virginia, it's called the Heyman House in Sutton, West Virginia, where we filmed one of our episodes. We captured a scream that gives me chills just talking about it. I mean, it wasn't like through a device. We captured it on 5 different cameras, and it's probably the most unbelievable piece of evidence we've ever captured, or I've ever captured in 15 years.
What do you think the difference is when you can actually hear something audibly with your own ears without needing a device? I mean, is there a difference in that type of haunting, do you think? Like when you see shadow people, I mean,
Right.
Is that a different type of spirit compared to, let's say, you see some kind of a legitimate, very legitimate light anomaly? When you hear, because I have had some, but not a lot, of the audible voices. We heard it down in the woods with the girl crying.
Yeah.
What do you think that is, JJ? What do you think the difference is in that kind of haunting?
Personally, I think it's just levels of it. I think it takes amounts of energy to do different things. I don't necessarily think they're different types of hauntings. I think it just takes a different level of energy to do. I mean, obviously, manifesting yourself as a full body apparition where you can show everything, that's going to take the most energy, and that's going to take something that has a lot of power to do that. I mean, and my thought process is going to be easier to show yourself as a light anomaly or a ball of light than it is a shadow person, but it's easier to show as a shadow person than it is as a full body apparition. So to me, I think it's just the amount of energy that they're able to pull in, or however that works, and just use to show their presence.
I have never before now thought about the fact that it is a level of energy that the spirit has to put out to show, more of themselves, as opposed to, the light apparition or the shadow person apparition, that kind of thing. I mean, and it probably takes a ton of energy to move an object.
Oh, yeah.
Throw a brick, throw some,
absolutely.
right? Okay.
And so, JJ, speaking of energy, I've had this happen to me where all your power supplies drain almost instantly. Explain that to Ron, what's happening and why you think that happens.
Yeah, I think it's just a way for the spirit or whatever's there to try to manifest. They have to get energy from somewhere. And I mean, it's theorized that electromagnetic fields or EMF are just a way that they're able to show themselves. So, I mean, that's electrical energy. So the idea is that they can pull that energy from the batteries or the equipment that we're using and use that as a way to kind of show themselves. So we've definitely had that happen many times. Where
soak it dry real quick. I mean, is that what they're doing? I mean,
there used to be devices that used to be able to hook up to your battery.
Yeah.
And it would show how much power was in that battery, and you bring it to a location, and you'd be able to monitor if that battery is being drained. And it would just go click, 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 pew, gone.
Wow. Okay.
Just drained dry.
We have a ton of batteries because we filmed for the web series. So we have the batteries that are supposed to last between like 4 and 6 hours, like the big batteries.
Yep.
And we'll have those completely charged. We'll put one of those in, and then within 5 or 10 minutes, it's almost completely drained.
Yep.
And I mean, there's obvious natural explanations. If you're in somewhere that's extremely cold or something like that, it can drain the battery a little bit. But if you're just in a normal, I mean, as far as like temperature goes, there's no natural explanation for why a battery would drain that
That's
fast.
right. That's right. Now, what about human energy? What's your take on that?
Yeah, I mean, everybody has their own energy. Like I talked about earlier, being cautiously open. If you open yourself up, and we do that, I do that, and my team does that sometimes, where we'll say, you can use my energy, and that will allow them to not like possess you or anything like that. It's just more that they can kind of feed off of that to do whatever they need to do. Yeah, I absolutely think that can play a part in it for sure.
So I've been investigating for years. There's some times where I'm doing a lot of it, and then there's sometimes I'll go a long time without being able to go to a location. Out of all these years I've been doing this, my wife has only come along 2 times, and both times that exact same that happened to her, where she was completely depleted, just drained.
Oh.
There was that one time where she just, for a week straight after an investigation, that she just had absolute zero energy.
Really?
And that's what JJ was kind of referring to, is that, you hear some of these yahoos out there that allow themselves open up. We talk about the Ouija boards.
Yeah.
I'm not anti-Ouija board at all. I just don't like anything where you give it the power to manifest through your body, to control your body, right? I think it's dangerous. I just think that's dangerous. But I got a question here coming from Steph Cuervo Queen from our YouTube channel. And this has been a conversation I've had with many people, and I want to get your take on it. I don't know the right or wrong answer, brother. So I stay neutral in this conversation, but I did go to school for industrial electrical and electronics, so I have some thoughts. She wants to know, what is your thoughts on the use of flashlights when you unscrew them and make them light up for questions? So we're talking about the mag lights.
Yeah.
What do you believe, when you unscrew it just enough for it to turn off or to turn, or whatever, and then you lay it down? What are your thoughts? Have you done that? Do you practice that?
Oh yeah, I mean, we've definitely done that. I feel like if you've been in the field at all for any period of time, you've at least tried it. And that was one of the things that the Ghost Hunters TV show, when they first started years and years ago, they did that. So they kind of popularized it. And when we first started out, we would do that where we'd have one of them set up, and we'd obviously try to get corresponding responses. But now I will never do, and I don't do it near as often as we used to, just because we have so much other equipment now.
Yeah.
But the only time I'll ever do it is if I have 3 separate flashlights, to where I can say, turn on the left one, or turn on the right one, or turn on the middle one. And I mean, that just adds another layer.
Okay, yeah, that makes more sense to me.
Makes a ton of sense.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because Rocky and I were talking about the flashlight thing, because we saw it in a video at the Hill House, as a matter of fact. And, Rocky's explanation to me was, that's not necessarily a good thing. I say it's not necessarily something that is.
So what it does, it creates the Ark and Spark effect.
But it's not real. I mean, in some cases. Now, the way JJ's talking about doing it, though, I 100%. Can see that. Yeah.
You know what? Because you're right, JJ. When you have the 3 and you are very specific on which one, you know what? Now you'll get my attention, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So we practiced this theory. Now, my biggest thing at the time, I wasn't trying to debunk it, but you know as well as I do, brother, that in this field, there's a whole army of people out there just waiting to tell you where you're wrong, right? So with the mag light, it's the Ark and Spark effect. So if you disconnect the battery just far enough away from the connector, but still close enough, it's going to create that static. It's still going to create that little bit of a charge, and it could build up enough charge to activate the light. Short term, right?
Right.
Because then that energy will dissipate. So it was like, what can we do in this field to where it's almost damn near impossible to debunk, right? And so I've always kind of stuck with that. But you caught my interest on that with the 3 flashlights and being very specific. Because you know what? That would change, because I'm open-minded to anything, right? My buddy Scotty, he's a staunch believer. He worked with ghost hunters. So he's a staunch believer of using it. He said that he's had some amazing results in regards to that.
Yeah.
Now, give me 3 flashlights and let me watch JJ say, turn on the middle one, and that middle one turns on. I'm like, okay.
I'm believing at that point. Yeah.
Absolutely, brother. Absolutely. Have you, sir, ever been followed home?
Oh,
Yeah, without a
what?
doubt. Yeah, I mean, many a time we'll have stuff, and
Dude,
it's
you
never been
stop
anything
saying many a
that's
time. I don't need you to say many a time. I've been
I
followed
mean,
home
I've been
many a
doing it
time.
for
He was
14
so
years,
nonchalant about
so
that.
it's bound to happen at some point. It won't happen your first time out, hopefully, but
Okay, see, it won't happen my
uh,
first time out.
hopefully. I mean,
Hopefully.
you never know.
No, it won't.
Shit.
But we've had stuff. It's never been anything that's like hurt anybody, but we've had stuff got knocked off our walls after an
Yep.
investigation. My girlfriend, like I said, she's in our group, Vanessa, that investigates with us. It tends to pick on her for whatever reason. She'll hear people talking when I'm not home, or
Oh.
one morning she felt a cold hand on her, and she
Oh,
thought it
hell.
Ooh.
was me messing with her, and
Hell
I was
no.
not even home. So it's messed with her
How
more
does
than it
she
has me.
how does she handle it, JJ? How does she deal with
She
that?
yells at JJ and blames him. 'Cause that's what she does. I know it.
Do you get the phone call
Yeah,
at work? Hey, get home right
oh yeah.
now. Somebody with a cold hand just touched me.
She's brave. She knows that what she's doing of
She's
being a part of
braver
the
than me.
field. So she'll call me and she'll be like, "Did you do this or did something happen?" And I'll be like, "No, it wasn't me." And then she's like, "Oh well, the whatever it is at it again." So
Yeah,
she's getting used to it
my
at this
wife will be
point.
like, my wife will be like, "You didn't clear yourself, did you? You didn't clear yourself, did you?" I'm like, "Hell yeah, I did." She goes, "Well, how'd you clear yourself?" I'm listening to some heavy metal rock.
It seems to me that whole clearing yourself thing, I need to learn before I go to my first.
Now, JJ, I'm a big believer in manifestation, right? I mean, that's why we're here where I'm at. That's why I'm in Texas. I believe in manifestation of the mind, manifestation of the spirit, and protection. What are your thoughts on that? What are your thoughts, in regards to clearing, creating that intent, creating a protective bubble? What are your thoughts on? Is it possible? Can we do it, or are we just manifesting the protection to where we just feel safe?
I mean, I think it's probably a combination of both. I mean, anytime that you feel that, I mean, you're obviously going to be more confident in the fact that something's not going to happen. But I think that there is a level to where, like I said earlier, whatever that it is that you believe in, your religion, your faith, your spirituality, just grounding yourself to the earth itself, whatever it is. I mean, whatever you can focus on and lock in on that you feel confident about, I think it's just they go hand in hand. So I mean, even if it is kind of a like false thing, as long as you believe it, it's definitely going to be helpful.
Well, did you hear that?
Yeah, as long as you believe it, it's going to be helpful.
Well, and the reason I say that is because I told Ron the story about this one lady from Peru who believed she had an incubus doing things to her when she would try to sleep, and she was so frightened of this thing that she would not live at her home. And I went there, and hell yeah, brother, there was something was there, and I got some very creepy ass EVPs, but they're swearing at me, they're saying my name, and it took time after time after time, and finally, because I did a bunch of work with shamans, and the shamans would do crystals and turtle shells, and they'll do all this different types of practice. And so I crushed up some crystals, and I put some intent into the crystals, and I put them in an aspirin bottle. And I told the lady, I'm like, anytime you feel that this entity, this creature thing, is going to do anything bad to you, just shake the bottle. You got the crystals in there. This is what it's going to do to the atmosphere energetically. And I'm telling you, brother, it was that alone that manifested enough mental power for this lady to have that spiritual strength to not allow this energy to continue to harass her. I mean, it's amazing what the mind can do.
Yeah.
100%, absolutely.
All right. Now, tell everybody about your project. Right now, you are doing Forgotten Relics. WVPI presents Forgotten Relics. Tell us about Forgotten Relics. Tell us your mission statement. Tell us what you want to do. Documentary style. Take people on the journey with JJ. What's going on?
Yeah, what we wanted to do with Forgotten Relics is kind of give like a behind the scenes down and dirty look at investigating. We obviously want to acknowledge the history and the activity that has happened before us. But what we found with a lot of TV shows and a lot of other things that are out there is you'll see 45 minutes of build up and then you'll get like 5 or 10 minutes of investigating, and then
Yep.
the episode's over. And that just kind of drove me crazy. And I've been wanting to do Forgotten Relics type thing for years and years, and I finally got the right people around me and got the right equipment and got the right mindset to build it. And we're super proud of what we've done, and it's only going to get better and better as we learn. We've kind of fallen in love with the filmmaking process, and
Yep.
we're learning more about lighting and audio and everything that goes along with it. We already knew everything, not everything. We knew a lot about investigating because we've been doing it for so long, but the filmmaking aspect's catching up to it, and we're super proud of what we've done. And like I said, the stuff we have filmed that we haven't released yet is absolutely incredible. So we're excited with everything we have, and it's something I'm really, really proud of.
JJ, are your episodes the ones that are out now? Are they on your YouTube channel, or is there someplace else somebody should go to see them?
Yeah, they're on our YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/WVPara, WVPARA. We have 5 episodes out right now. We have another 4 episodes filmed right now that are being reviewed, edited, and will be released before the end of the year. So we're trying to get more steady content coming out. It's really hard when you have hundreds of hours worth of video to
Yep.
go over and edit and put together. So we're working on it. But yeah, just definitely stay tuned because we got some cool stuff coming.
Sweet.
You know, that's, I mean, we know this is
Yeah.
what we do. And that's a lot of work, man. You know, doing the audio production, the video production, the post editing,
Yeah.
what's the right music, if you're going to put music in, background stuff, what are the right angles? It's a lot of work. And what's even harder, and JJ, tell me what you think. The hardest thing when we talk about paranormal is when we want to bring people on the journey, it's so hard to sell on a screen the actual emotions that you're going through during certain events.
Right.
How do you sell that? That's the hardest part for me, is how do you sell that to be more than just a story, but an experience?
It is really difficult because, like I said, everything around the paranormal ties back to that energy.
Yep.
And it's so hard to explain that energy or the emotions of what is going on around you. So, I mean, from the beginning, what we wanted to do was just be as open and as honest as possible and try to explain and elaborate on everything that we were experiencing. That way that when something happens, they're going to be able to just kind of see and feel and hear everything through our point of view. That way they can kind of experience it on their end. It's definitely very difficult to do, but it's something that, like I said, we've kind of fallen in love with that side of it, is trying to get that story across to people.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Oh, I just thought of a question. I just thought of a great question. I can hear myself talking. That was weird. JJ, have you ever been chased out of a building, or have you ever run out of a building because you were scared or anything like that?
Oh, you don't look like you get scared of shit. Look at
No,
him.
I'm telling him he doesn't look like he gets scared of shit.
Everybody on Twitter wants him to flex, and on YouTube they want him to flex his muscles.
I've definitely been afraid, but I like to push myself as far as possible. I've never ran out of a location. I've definitely had to step outside to kind of clear my head and kind of get a bearing on everything that's going on and kind of clear myself. But I've never ran out of a place. The only time I've ever ran inside of a place was a place that we investigated. We actually stayed there for 30 nights consecutively.
Oh,
and
what?
investigated every
Damn.
single night, which was the most taxing thing I've ever done. But it had been abandoned for years. When we first got there, we were kind of just poking around on some basic stuff. And we heard something hiss so loud that I was 100% sure that there was a wild animal inside the house. So I ran to the next room because I thought I was going to get attacked by a possum or something like that. So that was the only time I ever ran, and it didn't end up being any animal. It was something that hissed at us that I'll never forget that moment.
Well, and a lot of these shows, they do that kind of crap for TV purposes,
Run?
entertainment purposes. Yeah, run out of a building. I mean,
I promise you, folks, if Ron or I are running, it ain't for entertainment.
It ain't for entertainment
because we're saving our asses is what we're doing. All right.
It's because something in the back of my mind said, "Get the F out."
Yeah, that's right.
Now,
now, JJ, we got about 4 minutes. We got about 3 minutes here before we got to go out. I'm just kind of curious. What kind of equipment do you use? What do you think is the most effective in the field?
We have a little bit of everything. Basically, anything that you can think of, we have. We have obviously voice recorders. We have EMF meters, K2, EDI. We have FLIR thermal. We have the SLS Connect. We have the portals, the spirit boxes, the radios. I mean, we have everything. Our one of our favorite things right now that we use a lot is called the Estes Method, which is gaining a lot of popularity in the field.
Oh yeah, that's where the blindfold. Yeah, we talked about that on a show a couple of weeks ago.
That's something we do a lot at locations. We've had some pretty incredible results with that. So that's one of our go-to things that we do basically every time out.
Yeah, we've done that. That's pretty cool. We've done that Estes Method before, and it was pretty damn accurate, brother. And what's really cool is that you're not being led with what you're hearing, because lots of times you ask a question and you're waiting for that answer. So sometimes you may hear a sound that's similar.
Yeah.
But when you're doing that method, you're blindfolded and you have the headphones on that are soundproof. And so you're just saying what you're hearing in the spirit box, and you can't hear what people are talking about. And I'm going to tell you something, man. That's a pretty impressive method. Kind of freaky, because I don't like being blindfolded. Except, but
okay. Moving along. So JJ, you said SLS Connect. Is that the one that gives you the stick figures on the screen?
It is, yeah.
Is that? I just saw it the other night for the first time. It's really kind of freaking weird. I mean, it's like a camera, and then on the computer screen you see stick figures dancing around. Is that supposed to be a spirit, picking up on a spirit?
So basically what it does is it shoots out IR beams or infrared beams, and it was designed to work with the Xbox. Like, you would stand in front of the camera and it would map you doing different things for the game. So the idea is that those IR beams will bounce off of anything. So if there's something there that it's registering that you can't see with your eyes, and it maps that figure, then the idea is that that's a spirit that you can see in that way.
Now, are there times where you're using that piece of equipment that you don't see stick figures?
The majority of the time, you shouldn't see anything.
Right. Okay.
I mean, there are times where you're going to get false positives, where it's going to pick up a chair, or it's going to pick up a door, or it's going to pick up anything that kind of resembles a person, because that's what it's designed to see, is the human figure. But most times, if you're using it correctly, you're not going to get a result. So that makes it even more impressive that when you do see something, then you know for sure that, not for sure, that you have a better idea that there's something there.
JJ, real quick, before we go, you got about 15 seconds. Tell everybody where they can find you, buddy.
YouTube.com/WVPara, and Facebook, search for West Virginia Paranormal Investigations.
About to stand.
Oh,
you know what, brother?
JJ, stay right there.
Hold on. Keep him there for a second. Yeah. JJ, respectfully, no disrespect your girlfriend, but just please Twitter for me, and just give everybody just one pump. There you go, girl. There That's right. We did
Stay there, JJ.
Yeah, you did. You are welcome, Twitter. You are welcome, YouTube. You did it. I'm trying to be respectful.
Oh, that was fantastic.
Yeah.
Though. He did do it.
J.J. Johnson, make sure you look him up on YouTube, West Virginia Paranormal Investigations. Just let me give you the really quick. It is WVPARA, WVPara for West Virginia Para. Man, I love talking about this. J.J. Johnson, look him up, find him on Facebook, and find him on YouTube. Ron Phillips, take us home,
he says. RomikaDesigns.com. That's where you can find all of the products for our premier sponsor. Go out to abnormalrealities.com. You can get your coffee mug out there now. We're going to be putting more stuff out there. Guys, we will be back tomorrow night. Remember, we've got 2 guests coming up in the near future. You're going to want to see those guests. Hang with us. We'll see you tomorrow night. Bye. All right, everybody, we're back.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Thank you. We want to say thank you to J.J. Johnson.
Yep.
We're going to go chat with him here for a little bit. But
get your cups. Get your cups.
Get your mugs. Get your mugs.
Yep. They can be personalized. You can just say, Big Sexy Stucci is my man.
We did have one we sold
Yeah, we did.
to our number one fan,
What did it say? It said Thomas Becker,
Yeah,
number one
number
fan.
one fan.
That's right.
or fan number one. Is what
Fan
it said.
number one. Love you guys.